Welcome to the Rotowire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, sponsored by WinBet. I'm Clay Link here on this Friday morning with Todd Zola of Rotowire.com and Masters Ball. Going to be doing our usual two-start pitcher thing, talk a little pickups, a little bit about pickups. Not a lot going on in the Stake League this week, kind of quiet, as you might expect. But Todd, how are you today?
Excuse me. I thought I was doing well, but I can't talk, so I'm doing fine. Doing well. I think whoever was in charge of the May weather and the August weather, I think they switched months. It's bizarre. I mean, the weather is just so. I guess we're going to get in New England a bit of a warm snap again, but early August has been like May.
That's crazy. That's in New England. Yeah, and here in Wisconsin, it's been pretty muggy. It gets really humid this time of year. So
right.
Trying to battle the humidity. I think this is probably our final live stream of the year. We're going to be focusing pretty heavily on football content. So the last live stream on these Friday mornings, but want to thank everybody who's been with us for these live streams.
Let's make it clear. We're still doing the podcast. We're talking about the YouTube, et cetera, where you get to see the two most handsome Rotowire employees together.
Yeah, that's so true. We'll still be doing the pod, of course, through the end of the regular season, probably into the postseason in terms of 5 days a week. Then they'll be a little bit more spread out throughout the winter. But I do really appreciate the support, people stopping by to comment, just hang out with us on these live streams. It's been cool. Let's look at the pickups for the Stake League. I know you're not in the Stake League, Todd, but I like to throw these off you. One guy who I didn't see picked up, but I'm a little surprised, is Michael Lorenzen. Just because the back end situation there in Cincinnati remains up in the air. Maybe that's why nobody was really interested. You got Michael Givens, who got one yesterday, and you still got Heath Hembry. You got Amir Garrett, of course. Then Dylan Floro was actually the top pickup in the Stake League, $14. I thought it was going to be Bender there in Miami. Maybe it's more of a timeshare with Floro, but I think Bender is still very much in the mix for saves there.
Yeah, so as far as Lorenzen goes, I think most fantasy leagues need a new rule. We have two fab budgets, one for fab and then one for the Reds closer. And you're only allowed to bid a certain amount of money on the Reds
closers.
Yeah. All right, so Floro is weird because he not weird, but you're talking about the prices now. Earlier in the year, he probably would have gone for 4, but we're getting closer to the end. Desperation sets in. Someone else needs saves. So you have to outbid them, and as they say, I don't know about the Stake League, but I'm assuming you can't take it with you. So right. So that's why some of these prices may be a little bit higher, relatively speaking. So Floro got a save on the second and third. So
Bender got a save last night,
right? So you sort by weekly saves, and this league goes Friday to Thursday. He had a couple saves, but like you're saying, Bender. Now, did Bender get the save because Floro had pitched for a couple straight days? But that's what's going to happen. Well, how many times is Miami going to give 3 saves in 4 days?
That's true.
I shouldn't, I say that, but that's what happens in baseball. But anyway, I think you're right though. Right? If there's 10 saves the rest of the season. It might go 7-3, 6-4, but probably in Floro's favor. So
yeah, he was never sniffing the ninth inning there in LA for all those years, but he's got that sidearm. Doesn't he have a sidearm submarine?
Yeah.
So not really all that surprising given his career numbers to see him climb the ladder there in Miami, but just never really had the chance in LA to work back end innings.
Right.
Josh Rojas was picked up. I dropped him actually this league a couple weeks ago. Maybe that was not smart because he's starting a rehab assignment. So Josh Rojas should be back somewhat soon for Arizona.
It'll be interesting to see where he plays, how they work out their playing time. He was playing so well previously, but now that Ketel Marte's back, although since Rojas went out, they did trade away Eduardo Escobar, so they'll probably find a spot for him.
Yeah.
What it probably means, Josh Van Meter will probably lose some of the playing time he's getting. And
I think they want to see what they have in Rojas.
No, for sure, for sure.
He was playing pretty well early on, then he kind of hit the skids a little bit, but
yeah.
Overall, a pretty decent year for him.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, I don't think anybody's counting on Van Meter, but we'll probably see Van Meter lose some playing time. Jack Hager's been playing a bit as well. So I guess the biggest question will be, with this extra player back, because Ketel Marte can play some second base, how much playing time will Dalton Varsho lose?
Yeah, hopefully not a lot, because he's been stellar.
That's only, there's not a DH. Someone, if Rojas is back, someone has to lose playing time, right? So it's right now it looks to be Varsho. So we'll see how that fleshes out. Yeah,
Van Meter too. But maybe Varsho takes a hit. Rafael Ortega was an $8 pickup. He had that 3-homer game on Sunday. It was a big pickup in a lot of leagues then.
Yeah.
Still available here for 8. I didn't get him in any NFBC leagues, but I am in the Rafael Ortega business in the FSGA league. I got him for a little speed, hopefully, playing time. My outfield's been a little thin all year, so
nice.
I did get at least one share. Maybe I got another one. But did you get in the Rafael Ortega business last week?
I love this thing on the site where you can call up the name and all the leagues you've got linked. I got him in the TGFBI.
Oh, nice.
So I think I've been up to third. I'm not gonna get any higher than third place, but I've been jostling between third and sixth.
In the overall?
No, shoot, no.
Oh, okay.
In my league,
I'm not even close.
Draft cheat, Pete. Pete is in my league, and he's competing for the overall. And I'm selfishly holding for Draft Cheat to win, because that will make 3 straight years the overall champion has come from my league.
Oh, that's crazy.
Kevin was in my league last year. So
I didn't know that. That's pretty.
That would be kind of. I mean, that's kind of like hitting for the cycle. I mean, it's kind of like, who cares? I mean, it just sounds good, but it would be kind of cool to say that of course, we'd have to deal with Draft Cheat winning, but I guess that would be okay.
I know he plays the Twitter heel kind of, but he's been a supporter of the show. So
yeah.
Props to Draft Cheat on his great run this year. Let's look at some other pickups here, Todd. Let's see. Well, Edward Olivares, your boy, still out.
It's Edward Olivares season, my friend. 4 homers in like 8 games.
He seems like every time I look up on Twitter, Edward Olivares is doing something. And we kind of talked about him very briefly at the end of our MLB Network radio show. I said, hey, Todd, I know you've been a fan all season, and maybe it's finally time he gets this prolonged look. And it does seem like they're finally turning him loose.
But, in typical fashion, right? What was the reason that I was into Olivares? Was cheap speed. And what is he doing? He's pounding the ball out of the ballpark. So, I mean,
he's got one bag since he came up.
Ooh, it's hard to steal. It's got, hard to steal when you're doing your home run trot.
Yeah, 3 homers in 4 games since he came back.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was right, and it's four homers since the third. I mean, it's 4. And he had one pinch hitting, so 4 homers in those last 6 starts. And like I said, 4 homers last 5 starts. But I mean, playing time's everything. I think he will. Eventually, some of these home runs will turn into singles. And he'll run a little bit. But it's a matter of playing time. And at this point, he's now replacing Jared Dyson. Ooh, so I'd like to see him get some playing time the rest of the year. And he's young enough. He could be part of a competitive, Royals team, I think. I think this is why they need to take a look at him, because they do have a few other people coming up through the system. Kyle Isbell kind of flamed out, but I don't know if he's a bust for good. I just think he was a little bit ahead of himself this year. So what I'm seeing, I don't know what kind of jump around. I'm seeing maybe James talked about him. I'm seeing Nick Pratto picked up in a lot of Otno in particular, but in a couple places. Is he close to coming up, or is he just hitting so well people want him in dynasty formats?
Well, I think he and Bobby Witt, like, kind of together got bumped up to AAA a few weeks back. And I imagine, I haven't really seen, but I'd imagine if he's getting picked up, he must be crushing at AAA.
Crushing, not really crushing, but still, 22. He's I think it's, you know how it is sometimes when a name comes into vogue, especially when it's in a Rotowire out in the league, that it's kind of a dynasty format. So that's probably what it was. I was just unaware of what he's been doing. I've been so caught up trying to catch up with the major league goings on in the past 2 weeks. I've missed a couple of those happenings. So anyway,
you can be forgiven for that, Todd. You got plenty going on. Yeah, he's not doing well. He's got an OPS over 900 at AAA. So yeah, but yeah, you're right. Otanu is like a long-term dynasty format.
Right.
And in those, he definitely should be rostered. I know he's climbed up James's prospect list. And speaking of James, he picked up Alex Colimay for 6. And Alex Colimay kind of is the embodiment of the Twins season. Like, he brought in, had some hopes, but it was over for him early in that role, and the Twins season was over early. But now that they've cleaned house, it does look like Colimay, well, Taylor Rogers too, out for the year probably. So it does look like Colimay will get another chance to maybe recoup some value. Because I imagine he just signed a 1-year deal, didn't he? Let me see here. 1 year, $5.5 million.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Mutual option, 1 year, $5 million. So yeah, he'll be on the open market again this year. But and saves may be hard to come by, but this is, like you said, people having money to spend, burning a hole in their pocket, and needing some saves. I kind of get him going for 6.
Sure. I mean, I'm glad it's not me, and James needs to do what he needs to do. But man, Colomay's playing with fire, isn't he?
Yeah, and by comparison, Tyler Clippard went for 6, Matt Whistler for 6. So people needing their saves and going digging around. I do like Whistler, but man, that's a hard situation to figure out. It always is with Tampa Bay, but especially now, like, I have no idea.
A lot of bids for 6 there. What do I always say? Bid 3 or 7.
I like that. Yeah.
Seriously, I've done the work on Tout Wars in labor for years doing their reports, and I'd line up the bids, and there were just so many bids ending in 0 and 1 and ending in 5 and 6. So I would always go 3 and 7 because there were a few 2s in there just because of they hear me talking. For whatever reason, I don't need to go 8. 7 works, but I'll always end bids in 3 and 7. Plus, they're I don't want to say my lucky. Well, they're kind of my lucky numbers. So, or 10, 13, 23, 17, 27. I've got birthdays and things like that all on those dates. So yeah, so everybody should bid on my lucky numbers.
Hey, that's good. It's good to have a process that you stick to. And a method to your madness. I'm like Charlie Sheen in Apocalypse Now, where I don't see any method at all because there's really no method to my bidding. I just whatever sounds right at the time, I put it in, then I come back a few hours later, I tweak it. Very inexact science. Let's see here. Jesus Luzardo picked up now with Miami, of course. You interested in tempting fate there with Luzardo, or do you need to see more before you buy back in?
I guess. I don't know. It depends upon what else is out there. I know the stake league is not a keeper league. I'm still obviously very interested in long term. He did pitch 5 innings. He didn't pitch great, but he pitched 5 innings and going to win over the Mets. So that's probably what the impetus, people, well, if he's going to go 5 innings, I want him. But again, 3 runs, home run, 3 walks, 5 Ks. It was all right. It wasn't a great start, but it got the win over the Mets. Again, it depends upon. I haven't heard a whole lot of starting pitching that you've named so far. So, guessing there's not a whole lot of starting pitching available.
No, there really isn't. Like Reed Detmers.
Yeah.
That's where we're at in terms of starting pitchers. Maybe Luis Gil. But Detmers really struggled against the A's last weekend. So, yeah, starting pitching seems really especially hard to come by right now. And I know some people on Twitter talking about it. Wins over these final 2 months. I know we don't have expanded rosters where there'll be like 10 bullpen changes on each side every game. But it does seem like wins are going to be increasingly hard to come by.
Yeah, well, they already are, and I think they probably will, especially when we don't know. Maybe we will begin to know, but right now we don't know when Craig Counsell is going to decide to piggyback some of his guys to reduce innings. He's already done it once with Freddie Peralta, and he says he's going to continue to do it. Didn't really make it clear if it was going to be with Corbin Burns and Brendan Woodruff. It just sounded like maybe a couple more times with Peralta. We don't know, and so not only are there just weird things happening with the staff, and we're going to talk about two-start pitching, and there's a couple of interesting injured guys coming back, but that's going to be occurring as well. So it's not only is going to be tough to get the wins, it's going to be tough to try to figure out who's starting the final 6 weeks.
Yeah, totally. It's going to be a crapshoot and just a guessing game. But one other starting pitcher who just returned, Steven Braultz, I kind of had hopes for him. I grabbed him in a couple very early draft and holds.
Right.
He's been hurt all year with that lat injury, but 4 innings in his debut, kind of a microcosm of what we'll probably see a lot in baseball, especially these final 2 months, a lot of 4-inning outings. But I do kind of like Braultz. He's kind of sneaky. And there was another name I had. I forget what it was, but the starting pitching is very tough to find. Oh, I mentioned Luis Gil.
Yeah, I mean, there were some GIFs or GIFs of him pitching some of his stuff that was interesting. David Garcia is really, really struggling on the farm, so Gil kind of got the call over him, and Gil's going to start Sunday, which doesn't put him up for 2 starts the following week, but it's interesting. Tonight, the Yankees are going with your old friend, I believe, Wandy Peralta. Wasn't he on one of your old teams at some point? Wasn't he on everybody's old team at some point?
He was on every team, yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the Detroit guy. This is from the NL. He's going to be an opener, but that's the Yankees, who are closing in on the Red Sox for the wild card, have to use Wandy Peralta in a bullpen game. I'm not saying that's not a knock against the Yankees. That's like as you say, microcosm. Good word, microcosm of the season.
Eliezer Hernandez getting pretty close too. I want to throw his name out there. Aaron Quinn, who's leading the stake league, got him on the cheap, a $0 ad, and that's pretty sneaky. Next rehab start was, it looks like yesterday at AAA. So, and
you guys don't have to, like in Tout Wars and Labor, we're required to start the pitchers that we pick in FAB or players we pick in FAB. You're not required, right? There's a reserve list, so you can stash. Excellent.
Yeah, you can just put him right on the bench. I have Keibert Ruiz on the bench. I thought maybe he'd get the call, but
there's still time.
AAA, but yeah, it's still time.
This is time. It's getting close time for the Zola column about this. This is the time of teams we need to start looking at what AAA teams are close to the playoffs. Because teams like to leave their star players often, not always. But a team like Miami, they sometimes getting, I don't know if Miami's close to the playoffs, but they like to get their players playoff experience at whatever level. So sometimes if you're waiting for someone to be called up, it may be delayed to let them get the playoff experience. Now, like you said, though, Clay, there's no roster expansion. So this is the first year of that. Last year, remember, it was supposed to happen last year, but with COVID. So it'll be interesting to see, will teams still call up prospects and DFA, the Josh Reddicks? I know he was just DFA'd from Arizona, but that equivalent on some other teams, it's going to be interesting. Yeah, it really will be. By the way, I looked up what Eliezer did yesterday. It was 4 innings for Jacksonville, but only 1 hit allowed over 4 scoreless, 5 strikeouts, 0 walks. So that's not bad. Maybe needs another start, maybe not. I mean, he's right on the doorstep there, Eliezer Hernandez. So definitely a guy to not forget about if you have. I still think we're going to see Edward Cabrera by the end of the year. Yeah, he's another good one. Actually, Aaron backed Eliezer Hernandez up with Edward Cabrera, so that's a smart move. All right, we will get to the 2-star pitchers for next week momentarily, but first let's sort of a quick word from our sponsor. And now we are back on the Rotowire Fantasy Baseball podcast, sponsored by WinBet. Clay Link here with Todd Zola. Time to dig into next week's 2-star pitchers. Very tentative, as we always say. We throw that caveat out every week, but
especially over these final 2 months. It's going to be it'll apply all that much more to what we're doing here. 0 to 5 scale, if you're unfamiliar. 0 means we're not starting him in any leagues. 5 means if you have 5 leagues, we're turning him loose. And these correlate with Todd's rankings. So anybody, isn't it, top 20 in your weekly pitcher rankings for you, Todd, is a 5.
Yeah.
And then for every 20 from then on, it goes down.
And in full disclosure, I have not. I usually try to run them before and get a rough idea. I have been doing some other work today and have not. So I am like you. I am working blind. If we say something in the podcast and it's huge difference with the rankings when they're posted, well, that's what the discussion comment section is for. Ask me to justify, clarify, and I'll be more than happy to.
Absolutely. And yeah, check out Todd's weekly pitcher rankings closer to first pitch on Monday for an updated, better idea.
Yeah, they'll post Saturday first time, and then they'll get Sunday morning update, Sunday night update.
So first 2-star pitcher to grade for next week, Zach Gallen lining up for 2. Fell short of a quality start, but he's really, lately he's been pitching pretty deep into outings. He's gone at least 5 2/3 in 3 of his last 4. Missing bats. He's given up some homers, and I don't want to declare him fully back after he's dealt with like 3 different injuries this year. But at San Francisco versus San Diego, pretty nice 2-step for Gallen. Maybe it's time for him to get his 2nd win of the year. Good God, he's 1-6. That's amazing.
He's lost his last 6 decisions. I spread out over different starts, but
I'm going to give Gallen I'm going to give him a 4.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am at. I'll bet he finishes somewhere between 17 and 23. Just because you can't. You mentioned they're nice parks. Even without Tatis, it's still a tough offense. In San Francisco, if you're waiting for the shoe to fall, keep waiting. It ain't happening. I'm going to give him a 4, like you. But he's a 5 pitcher, but he's going to get a 4 because of what's happened all year long, injuries, etc.
Drew Smiley, kind of a tough guy to grade for this week for me anyway, versus Cincinnati at Washington. I was really not in on him at all in draft season. He's been pretty much what I expected performance-wise. He's also missed a little time, so I'm not trying to take a lap on him. I'm just trying to figure out if there's something there that any like silver linings, anything positive to see, and I just don't really see it.
There was, but he's kind of taken that away since the break. He's 3 straight 4-inning out. He was pitching at least 5 innings, like 6 starts in a row, and no more than 3 runs a game. But he's not going deep into games anymore. And I don't know if it's pitch efficiency or just getting in a little bit of trouble and getting lifted. So I don't hate the matchups. I'm not going to give him a 0, but. I don't think you can go in. I know you can't go higher than 3, so I'm jostling between 1 and 2 at this point. I'm gonna go 2 because I think he's still capable of going 5 innings. He just hasn't, and that Washington matchup's just too good to ignore.
Yeah, I'll go 2 as well for Smiley. No, I'm embarrassed to say.
It's a fun one.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed to say I actually added Harvey. In TGFBI, I won that thing once. Amazing. And now I'm picking up how the mighty have fallen. Now I'm picking up Matt Harvey. And, he was just like down my waterfall of players, and I somehow ended up with him for $1. And I think I started him too, and then he got rocked. So classic poor timing, picking up a guy who's on a hot streak, and then he just turns back into a pumpkin. Versus Detroit at Boston, I'll maybe give him a 1 just because I have to justify having him on a roster.
Well, first of all, like based upon some of the rockings that have occurred this year, 2 runs in 4 innings is like a zit.
I didn't realize it wasn't that bad. It was a knee issue is why he left.
It's a zit on a date night. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just relative to some of the other stuff that's gone. All right,
and after he just gone 3 straight scoreless.
Yeah, right. I'm just Giolito almost became a verb the other night. He managed to throw a couple innings of to escape verb territory. Gomber became a verb again. These things are happening. Anyway,
tell you who's not a verb anymore is Castillo. Louise
That is
Castillo.
correct.
He never really became a verb, but he's been great.
That's right. Yeah. All right. So I mean, Harvey with Detroit and Boston, I don't think he's not a categorical zero anymore. But I'm not going to start him. If someone wants to, 2 starts, I'm desperate. I can see it. I'm going to give him a 1, but it's not going to be. I'm not going to be the one starting him.
Yeah, I'll probably drop him honestly, but I got him a 1.
You know what? The injury too is something that we're assuming he's good to go by Tuesday, but who knows?
Now the Red Sox looks like they're getting Sale back, right? What's happening with them, by the way? They just seem to
it's called it's called baseball.
Yeah.
Up and down.
Regression to the mean. Yeah.
When actually part of it is that it's more than just flow. Their run differential, et cetera. Their Pythag, they were playing over their heads. The Red Sox were playing over their heads, and there's some regression here. But you know how baseball is. When the team you root for is on a downspin, at the same time their main competitors are on an upspin, it's the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
At some point it reverses, and it's just what happens in between. When both teams are just going 3-1, 2-3. 3 out of 4. 2. So I'm. Of course I'm concerned as a Red Sox fan. I'm not liking what I'm seeing, but they'll come out at some point and win 7 of 9, and things will be fine again. It's just where you are after 162. You mentioned Sale. We shall see. Right now, we are assuming that Garrett Richards stays in the rotation and Tanner Houck doesn't replace him. Houck is being called up for the doubleheader on Saturday. So, especially because we're talking about the following weekend, we have to make our best guess. We're not, Martin Perez and Garrett Richards, neither of them could be long for the rotation once Sale is back and once Houck, depending on how he does. I mean, Martin Perez was doing the job as a number 5 for a while, but he's been horrible lately.
Yeah, that was my big concern with that coming in, was the starting pitching, and they overperformed early, and now it does seem like this was inevitable. We'll see if they can weather this storm, but getting Sale back will be big. Sale will be making one more AAA rehab start on Saturday.
And let's not expect 8 innings of 3-run ball with 8 strikeouts from Sale either.
No.
Let's keep our expectations in check. There's no 2-star pitching for those worrying for that. At least for now. Eduardo Rodriguez could pick up a second start depending upon how things flesh out. But the first is against Tampa, so that's important. If you think he's going to get a second against Baltimore, he may be started in certain leagues. We may have more clarification by Sunday, but as of now, that's a tough decision. One game against Tampa, I can see sitting him versus if he gets a second start against Baltimore.
Yeah, so with Sale starting Saturday, that'd be Thursday would be the earliest day he could come back on normal rest, and that is when we have him projected to debut. So. Maybe if they do move Richards to the bullpen or something, Erod will get that second start, but it'll be something to watch for sure. Yeah. And Sale, I mean, I don't know if that's kind of tough. Do you turn him loose next week? I guess since he's made 5 rehab starts.
Part of one of the reasons that he's made so many rehab starts is so that he's stretched out enough that I'm not going to say he can go 9. But it's not one of those 3-and-run. People saying, why he's pitching so well, why isn't he on the major league team right now? They've already got enough bullpen eating up starters. They don't want another one. So you can expect at least 5. If he's pitching well, it's home against Tampa. That's a tough matchup. But I would I'd let him go. I'd let him loose. Part of it's FOMO.
Too,
Part of it's FOMO. Part of it is. Who else? I mean, as we just talked about, who else? You starting Reed Detmers? Who else is starting?
Yeah, true. I'm surprised. Maybe he must have been already rostered, but Dalton Jeffrey is another name that we didn't mention with pickups. But I think he's starting Sunday, maybe. Hopefully, he pitches well enough to stick around in the rotation.
He outdueled Detmers last week or earlier in the week.
I picked him up in tout head-to-head, so I'm hoping he makes a start this week.
Yep.
Otherwise, I'm taking a 0 in that spot all week. For the Cubs, Jake Arrieta, he's a 0 for me. But Alec Mills versus Milwaukee at Miami, I think I'd drop Harvey for him in TGFBI if I can. I don't doubt he's still out there. But I'm going to give Mills a 2.
Agree.
So, okay. Do you agree on 0 for Arrieta?
How can you not? He's been towards the bottom of my rankings overall. No, Grant, he had one start in Colorado, but yeah, he's I don't want to say it's sad to see because, I mean, he had a nice peak of his career. I mean, it's not like we're watching, Ferguson Jenkins. I mean, I'm dating myself here. go out and just be kind of cruddy towards the end of a wonderful career. But he's just collecting. I don't want to say collecting a paycheck because that's me. That implies something more than what I'm trying to say about him as a person. But all right. Let's just move on because I'm going to have my foot in my mouth soon.
Well, that happens to me quite a bit. So I feel for you.
Basically, he's not very good, but Major League pitching, there isn't. That's just what it is. So he continues to pitch.
Yeah, the Cubs need somebody to take the ball every 5th day. So
yep,
you're gonna eat some innings.
I mean, it's something I'm insulting him, which I'm not. I mean,
no. Insult the
baseball.
Ricketts. Yeah. I mentioned Louise Castillo because I saw him down the list here, and I mean, it's just been fun to see him rebound, and good to see them actually have like a competent shortstop with the emergence of Kyle Farmer. I mean,
this guy, he's out hitting second, right? He's crushing the I mean,
with Castellanos back, I think he moved down the other night.
Yeah, okay, yes, but he didn't move back at 9th. I think he's 5th or 6th. Yeah. Now, so we keep, saying, well, Castillo's not getting the strikeouts. Well, guess what? Castillo's getting the strikeouts again, right? 32 in the last 25 innings. So this is the Castillo we expected. Unfortunately, you eat a lot of the previous, 3 months in order to get it.
Yeah, and he was really let down by the team around him. Some blown leads. I saw the other day that I think Tyler Mahle leads baseball with 8 blown wins by his bullpen this year, and then Castillo's right behind him with 6. So Mally's actually had worse luck with his teammates behind him. So with Castillo at Cleveland, at Philly, I'm going to give him a 4. Then Sonny Gray is at Atlanta at Philly. So that's a little tougher, but I'm still going to give Sonny a 4 as well.
I forgot. Did we say Castillo 5? Did we just assume that?
I said Castillo 4, but you got a 5 on Louise?
Yeah, I have a 5. But at this point, I have a 5 on that.
Okay.
Gray. I mean, I'm almost tempted to, all right, I'm going to go 4. He's still missing bats. He's just there's a little something. I haven't watched a ton of his work, so I can't pass the eye test. But it looks like maybe he's just not putting guys away when he used to put them away before.
He doesn't seem as dominant.
Yeah, so I'm going to go 4. I am going to go 4, but if I have him, usually all right, Sonny Gray going, I don't have to worry about it. Now I'm a little bit concerned about I got to check to see especially that Atlanta start. I know without Acuna, but who cares? They're hitting. I'm going to be a little nervous about that Acuna
in
start.
Atlanta. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's weird. So that Cincinnati Cleveland that must be a makeup, right? Is it a makeup?
I think that's a makeup. Yeah, it's got to
be. Yeah. I mean, Cleveland is hitting a little bit. They're not. It is. You're right. It is a much better matchup for Castillo at Cleveland versus at Atlanta, which is pretty much one of the reasons I go 5. But anyway.
Now, JC Mejia, I feel like he pops up on the list all the time. He's just always a 0. So maybe at least mark it down. So
but I can use my joke again.
What joke was that from me?
He's pitching a lot better as Gene Carlos. All right, that joke, as I said in the XFL draft the other night, that joke has run its course.
You might want to retire that one. Exactly. But no, that popped me pretty good. At least one of the times you used it. Tristan Mckenzie, 7 innings most recently, 3 earned runs. Didn't get the win, took the loss, but he's got upside, but he's also got that downside that we've seen. He's got a 6 spot recently, a 5 spot. He's given up, it looks like, 7 homers his last 4 outings. I don't know if I can trust him, but if I'm going to give Matt Harvey a 1, I'll give Tristan Mckenzie a 1.
Yeah, McKenzie's walks have been, I'm not going to say under control, but they're under better control than they were earlier in the season, which, you mentioned, you figure the home runs, they come and they go. You can no longer say Detroit's a cakewalk.
That's true.
They have scored in July. They led the league in runs per game. I don't know how it's heading into December. I know they just laid a whooping on the Red Sox, 2 out of 3, including the last one where they shellacked them. They'll come back down to earth. I don't know what you said, but I'm going to go 2, and I'm curious to see where my sheet puts it.
I said 1, but all right, I got you down for a 2 on McKenzie.
Yeah, that's why I think it may be high.
What about John Gray? He's on the road for 2, at Houston, at San Francisco. Not very easy, although, I used to always view SF as a nice matchup. Not so much anymore.
Are you watching any of their games? I mean, just,
not really.
After the Reds are done, it's just amazing. Who's he? Well, he's hitting a home run. That's who he is, Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how they built that contender so quickly.
Well, they didn't.
Tip of the cap.
I don't know that they built it. I just think everybody's Kepler, believe it or not, he's doing a good job putting people in the right position to succeed, and they're coming through. Even without
Wade
without Belt and Longoria, who are both playing really well.
Mm-hmm.
The people have stepped up and replaced him. Belt's back now, Brandon Belt. Curious to see what goes on there. I'm also curious to see with the Brewers what happens when Vogelbach comes back, because Rowdy Tellez is showing us the power stroke again. But different, with this 2 start, we'll worry about that for now. But the Giants are no longer, and you keep waiting. All right, playing the Padres, they lose 2 out of 3, and it's over. Well, they didn't. They won 2 out of 3. Here's the Dodgers. Dodgers, take 3 out of 4, and finally take the division. San Francisco takes 3 out of 4. They're passing all the tests.
Yeah, so I'm going to give. I mean, given that these are on the road, but against kind of tough opponents, I'm going to give John Gray a 3. What say you on John Gray?
He's been pitching all right lately. A couple 6-inning stints, including one against the Padres. I'm gonna say 3, but if it shows up as a 4, because looking at these starters, they're not very good.
Mm-hmm.
So relative to the field, he may turn out to be a 4, but I'm gonna say 3.
Nice. Okay. And Lucas Giolito at Minnesota versus the Yankees. I'm going to give him a 5. It's been a little bit of a frustrating season, but I still think he's one of the best in the game.
I wish. He's up to 3.98. I thought he was around 3.5 for a while. He was 3.7 entering, so a little bit higher than I thought. I'm going to go 5 as well. It's Kansas City was just one of those games, right? 3 home runs, it happens. So I think it's just one of those games. Yeah,
it's been disappointing, but it's so hard to pitch at the big league level. He's weathered the storm okay.
And he's probably going to end up with a 3.75, which is what we expected. Mm-hmm. We, some of us kind of hoped he would get a 3.3, 3.4 and take the next step. Or am I confusing him with Barrios? I'm confusing him with Barrios.
Well,
never mind. No, we expected Giolito was the first rounder. He was supposed to be around 3.0.
Yeah, I was really optimistic, and I took him
at
the end of the first round in a few leagues. And I mean, I do give him credit because he's bounced back to a pretty good extent. But on that team, you wish he had a few more wins, and you should just be a little bit more consistent. But that's just the ebbs and flows of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I know you picked him, and I didn't do as many leagues towards the end as you did, and so I can't say that I would not have done the same thing. I wasn't in the same scenario. But watching other people elevate Giolito to the first, I thought that was kind of scary. I just didn't think I thought that was just more of a, getting caught in the vortex of the NFBC type drafting, and I thought it was a mistake. So, but other players that I thought the same of crushed. So, I mean, I don't want to, just like you said, I'm not lapping here. It was just, I don't know.
That was a little rich. I kind of got caught up in the hype a little bit. I admit that, but I also could have taken Christian Yelich or Cody Bellinger.
Like I said, I mean, I was listen, I'm not having a great year, so all my decisions were the best. So
it's kind of just weird how many landmines there were at the back end.
I mean, I'll tell you, what I would have said at the time was I would have passed on Giolito and taken Louise Castillo instead. So, so just,
it's a hard game.
I would have been right and wrong, or wrong and right, depending on how you want to look at it.
How do you feel about Casey Mize at Baltimore versus Cleveland? He's not a 5 for me yet, but I think given these matchups, I think I'm going to give Casey Mize a 4.
Yeah, I think he's a 3 pitcher with 4 matchups. So we're gonna go with the 4 there, and he's pitching length. The last 2 games, he's given some length. So I think he's not striking a lot of guys out. All right, I'm gonna go back to a 3 because he's not striking guys out.
You're going 3 on Mize?
Yeah, just because of the strikeouts count.
Okay, yeah, I got you down here. We got to pause momentarily. I'll just bring you a few words from our sponsors. If I can get these up here. All right, so take care of a little business here from our friends at WynnBET. If there's one thing we appreciate here at Rotowire, it's making good decisions, and even more so making the right decision. Listen up, folks. I have an incredible offer for you with Rotowire's newest partner, WynnBET, the premier digital casino and sportsbook app. WynnBET is now the exclusive sponsor for Rotowire's fantasy podcasts. WynnBET brings you all the latest action with a user-friendly interface, moneyline bets, boosted parlays, over-unders, round robins, live betting, and so much more at your fingertips. Want a break from sports betting? Head into WynnBET's digital casino and take a spin on roulette, double down in blackjack, slam the slots, or try your hand at baccarat. WynnBET is currently available in 6 states: Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, New Jersey, Tennessee, and Virginia, while rapidly expanding. At WynnBET, the possibilities are limitless. WynnBET is currently offering all Rotowire listeners a risk-free bet up to $500 in your first wager. Download WynnBET now. That's WYNNBET. WynnBET, the exclusive partner for Rotowire's fantasy podcasts. And also, keep in mind, NFL is back on Thrive Fantasy. Thrive Fantasy has over $100,000 guaranteed for NFL Week 1. With Thrive Fantasy, you can eliminate the countless hours of research and focus on the top-tier athletes that have the biggest impact in the game. Sign up today and get a free 6-month Rotowire subscription. Here's how to claim your free Rotowire subscription. Visit rotowire.com/thrive. Deposit a minimum of $10 and receive a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And then finally, play in your first paid contest and receive that free 6-month Rotowire subscription. So, Todd, as we continue on here, 2-star pitchers. Looks like the Houston Astros have 5 games only, so no 2-star starters for them. What about for Kansas City? It looks like tentatively we have Carlos Hernandez in there. He has 3 wins already. Youngster.
I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's only made 4 starts. Looks like most of his appearances have come bullpen, but he's gone 6-5 in his most recent outing, so pretty well stretched out. I guess I should be in the Carlos Hernandez market this weekend. I think I'm going to say versus New York versus St. Louis. I think I'm going to give him a 3.
And those 2 starts were against the White Sox, 10 strikeouts, 3 walks, and 11 innings. Not bad at all. Scattering just 6 hits in 11 frames. Yeah, I'm gonna go. Well, first of all, he's the best pickup so far, right? It could be available, the best pickup.
I would say so.
Yeah,
unless I'd say it's so. Unless obviously like sales out there or something.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go 2. Just a little unproven, but I mean, like I said, if I need a 2-star pitcher this week, at least what I've seen so far, he's leading the waterfall.
Yeah, I did not expect to see him going so deep recently. That definitely widens the appeal for him. Now with the Angels, no 2-star starters for them, and for the Dodgers, Max Scherzer's an easy 5. good to see him hit the ground running with his new team.
Yeah. He didn't seem phased at all, did he, with the fans and anything else? He just seemed to be eating it up.
Yeah, just stepped right in and was dominant. Zach Thompson for Miami. Numbers pretty darn good. Wow. I did not realize Zach Thompson's having such a nice run, but only 4 innings his most recent outing, 2 earned runs. But overall, a 2.53 ERA, 110 WHIP, and 9 starts.
43K,
yeah.
The 43K is okay. I mean, obviously is okay. 42 and 2/3. 16 walks isn't terrible, isn't great. 3 homers allowed. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
And you take a look at his minor league history, and it's been kind of up and down as far as homers allowed. So, I mean, even earlier this year in Jacksonville, 4 homers in 15 innings, that's a lot. And the year before, 15 in 2019. So I think there's some regression coming, but there's a lot of built-in wiggle room. I mean, there's home run and hit regression, but the strikeout to walk ratio should soften it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
I just didn't realize he was. I mean, he's probably not out there in the mini leagues now, but if he's out there,
at San Diego without Tatis and at the Cubs without everybody, good Lord, then I'll go Rafael Ortega leading off.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, I'm probably going to say 3 for Thompson, but I don't love it.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to give him a 3 as well. That regression monster will be coming, but as you said, maybe softened a little bit, that blow that's coming. Now, no 2-star starters from Milwaukee, at least projected right now. And then for Minnesota, Charlie Barnes. He sounds like a WCW Saturday Night jobber. Like, it just sounds like the most random.
Have you ever won a match? I've never lost a match.
Just sounds like a generic, like, made-up guy. But 0-2, 6.23 ERA. Don't know much about him, and so I'm not gonna dance with the devil I don't know. And so I'm gonna give him his
farm.
Yeah,
he's 25-year-older in AAA, 54 Ks, 23 walks, and 63 and 2/3 innings. So
it's not what you want.
You ran into a couple at Detroit, at Cincinnati. No, I'm not dealing with it. Yeah.
Now Carlos Carrasco versus Washington versus the Dodgers. Washington's a great matchup. Second one, not as much. Trying to see how deep did he go? He's only gone 4.
He went into the 5th, right?
Okay, so not as stretched out as you may like, but possibility of going 5 isn't off the table by any means. So I'm going to give Carlos. Good to see him back. I'm going to give him a 4. I'm going to give him a 3 because he's not.
I'm going 3. I'm going 3.
I hate to just change on a whim, but yeah, 4 seemed a little aggressive the second it came out of my mouth. Jameson Tyone at Kansas City versus at the White Sox. So at KC, at the White Sox. Tyone's recovered pretty nicely, so I'm going to give him, I think, a 4 actually.
Yeah.
If I'm going to give Carrasco a 3, Tyone I think should be a 4.
Yeah, that last 10 Ks against the Orioles, I'm in that range. I'm in that. Do I want to go all the way up to a 4? Relative to the field, I'll bet you. All right, so if 39 is a 4, I'll go 4. I'll bet he ends up in like a 39 range.
Nice. Okay, so let's look at Frankie Montes. Man, he's been on a pretty nice run here. Since July 8th, he has a 2.56 ERA, 101 WHIP over his last 31 and 2/3 innings, 45 to 6 K to walk, only 2 homers in that span. So he's suddenly found it again. And I think at Cleveland, at Texas, that's I think a 5, honestly.
Yeah, I may be misspeaking. I'm doing some research for a piece. I think it's a splitter that he's been throwing more again, Mr. Splitty. Since the break or whatever it's been, doubled usage of it. It may be a different pitch. So if you're on Twitter and want to correct me, I think it's a splitter. But yeah, he's in the 5. Look at those matchups, Cleveland and Texas. I don't know if it gets any better than that in today's game.
Yeah, he's suddenly just back at the top of his game. So Frankie, good for him. That's the game for you. Sometimes these guys find it for stretches, and they're just brilliant after really struggling earlier. Now, Chase Anderson, I can't see any scenario where I'd start him, so that's a 0 for me.
I thought that was the case in general. I don't know why the Phillies are finding scenarios to start him. They're almost we're not there yet, but we're getting closer to seeing the first. I mean, this sounds like you're so Met. Why do you hate the Mets? I'm just making a joke. We're getting close to seeing the first place Philly. I'm not making a joke. I'm just pointing out the Phillies catching up.
Yeah, maybe the first place Braves before long. They're over 500 for the first time all year.
Yeah.
Stephen Braultz mentioned him. He actually does line up for 2, so it'd be versus St. Louis versus Milwaukee. Hard to know what you're getting there with him coming back, but I'll give him a 2. Stephen.
Yeah,
Braultz.
and he's right up. He's right up there. Now I forget who we were talking. It's not Zach Thompson. Carlos Hernandez. That's interesting. Who do you have higher on your waterfall? Braultz Hernandez. Right now, that
I'm leaning Hernandez, but it is pretty close.
Yeah,
I lean Hernandez just because he's cut loose a little more.
Yeah, no, I can see that. The St. Louis offense is not very good. It's at Pittsburgh, which is a good thing. The second game, Milwaukee's dangerous, but again, it's at Pittsburgh. So, I agree. Hernandez a little higher than Braultz, but if I need 2 starts, I'm not. Braultz is on the list for sure.
Yeah, then Joe Musgrove, I think, is a 5, right?
Yep.
Locked in every week. 5, yeah.
Those are nice matchups.
Yeah, they are. All right, so we're getting to the end of our list here. Logan Gilbert's been pretty good. I know he had a little bit of a hiccup. I think it was yesterday. But versus Texas versus Toronto, that second one isn't so nice. But I think I'm going to give Logan Gilbert a 3.
I don't want to say Gilbert fan, but I've been impressed with Gilbert.
Me too.
I'll give him a 3. It wouldn't shock me if it edges up over that, but I'm going to give him a 3.
Yeah, Kevin Gossman's an every week 5.
Wasn't he hurt or COVID or something?
Oh, is he coming?
Oh, paternity. Never mind. No, it was the paternity. Never. I know I had to take him out. Mm-hmm. It was paternity. Never mind. Good for him. Good.
Yeah, congrats to Kevin Gossman and his family. No 2-star starters for St. Louis, it looks like. And then Tampa Bay, Luis Patino. If he's out there, he's probably the top pickup in any leagues where he's available. I mean, he's been really impressive.
In my head, I hear if he's out there, he's probably gone, which, kind of dumb. Or that's what I actually expected you to say he's probably gone. And you said he's out there. So in my head, I juxtaposed.
I said if he's out there.
But I know. I mean, but in my head, you're saying he's probably gone. He had, for a while, I was kind of hesitant, but he's given length. And I like to see that. And you don't love the Boston start. They are gonna begin to hit it. Red Sox Nation, they are gonna hit again, but they're not hitting right now. I don't remember what you said, but I'm am I gonna go 4?
I think I'm gonna go 4. Personally.
I can't go 4 yet. I have to go 3.
All right. Yeah, he flashed his upside with that 8K outing, but I mean, he hasn't. Overall, he's had his ups and downs as you'd expect. So, all right, I got you down to 3 for Luis Patino. All right. I think we're down to our final 4 teams here, final 3 teams. So Colby Allard at Seattle versus Oakland. Pretty good matchups. Hard to trust him, though. So I think I'm going to go 2 for Colby.
Yeah, again, we no longer could just categorically. Yeah, we can't categorically. He's not striking anybody out, which is why I'm going to also agree with a 1. But I think he is somebody to. Well, he's only 23, so this is not podcast of the year analysis, but I thought he was older than 23. There's, obviously room for growth. I like what Texas is doing with their pitchers.
Yeah, it looks like Spencer Howard, probably just making 1 next week, but he is on a pretty short hook, it looks like. So he only went 2 1/3 on August 5th. So
yeah, man, they still got to roll Fultonevich out there, huh?
I get that they're just playing it super safe with Howard after the injuries he's dealt with in recent years. Now for Toronto, we have Matz, but it could very well be Ross Stripling who gets that second one because they're both starting Tuesday, part of a doubleheader.
Right now, if they go with a 6-man rotation, Has Toronto said they're going 6-man?
I don't know. I think
I don't know. They haven't had an opportunity. We haven't seen a whole lot of opportunities because they've had a couple double headers. But right, it could be Stripling getting that second one, or it could be Stripling with a bullpen. Maybe they could be pitching for the rotation spot in that doubleheader. Who knows?
Yeah, it's kind of like a doubleheader, like face-off to see who comes out of it with that rotation spot. It's like a one-day battle for that spot. But Stripling yesterday against Cleveland, 6 innings, 6 scoreless innings.
Yeah, kind of had a bounce back, huh? Yeah, very much so.
6 Ks and 1 walk.
I know we talk about it, but until you look at the chart and see Manoah, Ray, Barrios, Rio, that's they're there. That's a heck of a rotation.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with Manoah. He had only one bad outing.
His first one. Everybody's off the bandwagon, right?
Well, he had a great first one.
That's right. That's right.
Because he went into Yankee Stadium and it was just awesome.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Had a little bit of a step back, but overall, 2.47 ERA for Manoah. He's been great. So Matt's, again, very tentative. Could be Stripling. I actually like Stripling a little more. So for Matt's, I'm going to give him a 2. Maybe that's a little low, but
don't hate the matchups at LA, at Seattle. A couple of good pitching parks. I'll agree. I'll go with a 2.
Then finally, Paulo Espino. He hasn't been that bad, but 34, just a journeyman who I gave up 6 in his most recent. So that's reason enough for me to go 0.
Yeah, the 49 strikeouts in 66 innings is I'm kind of with you. Although he did go on a bit of a strikeout binge, 12 and 10 1/3 with Baltimore and the Cubs. But I'm gonna, you know what? Am I gonna sneak in there with a 1 just because I can see? I'm gonna go 1 just because I can see it. This is more of the old-fashioned one, not the rankings one. This is the old one where if I had him in 5 leagues, I'll bet there's one time that I need to use him I need double starts.
Yeah, you can see one scenario.
Yeah, he may end up ranked out of the top 100, but I kind of tweeted about this. Rankings are a framework. You then have to apply context to any sort of rankings. Team needs, ratio versus strikeouts, etc. And I say this, I usually tweet like that after I get a question that kind of frustrates me. And, I saw your pitching rankings and it says I should start this guy over that guy, but I need Ks more than I need this. Do you agree? Well, that's the point of the rankings. Now you apply your context and use your judgment, based upon what you need. It's just some kind of framework as a jumping off point. But anyway.
So let's recap the grades for the week of August 9th, 2021. Then we will get out of here. Zach Gallen, 4. Drew Smiley, 2. Matt Harvey, 1. Jake Arrieta, 0. Alec Mills, 2. Louise Castillo, I say 4. Todd, 5. Sonny Gray, 4. JC Mejia, 0. Tristan Mckenzie, I say 1. Todd, 2. John Gray, 3. Lucas Giolito, 5. Casey Mize, I say 4. Todd, 3. Carlos Hernandez, I say 3. Todd, 2. Max Scherzer, 5. Zach Thompson, 3. Charlie Barnes, 0. Carlos Carrasco, 3. Jameson Tyone, 4. Frankie Montes, 5. Chase Anderson, 0. Stephen Braultz, 2. Joe Musgrove, 5. Logan Gilbert, 3. Kevin Gausman, 5. Luis Patino, I say 4. Todd, 3. Colby Allard, 1. Stephen Matz, 2. And finally, Paulo Espino, I say 0. Todd, 1. Todd, anything else on your mind today before we sign off?
Oh, I got work to do, man.
Well, we'll let you get to that. I appreciate your time.
No, I've just been. It was my segue. I'm doing the forecaster for Tristan Cockcroft this week on ESPN. So if you're a lot of it's actually doubling up work with. It's kind of similar to what I do for us with the weekly pitching and hitting ranking. So kind of getting a head start, but it's kind of fun. I like it's the same way with some of the stuff on Rotowire with people going away. It's nice to be able to fill in for people on vacation again.
Yeah, it's good to be able to
You know?
take vacation again.
Yeah, and knock on wood. People go, "What are you doing?" Well, I took a few days to the Cape, and barring anything unforeseen, I'll be first pitches will be my my vacay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to going seeing my brother and niece and nephew next month. So I'll be taking a little trip in September. So I'm looking forward to that. And Todd and I will be back tomorrow on MLB Network Radio live from 7 to 8 Eastern.
7 to 8, right.
You can join us either live or with the SXM app. We'd appreciate it. Otherwise, we'll catch you next week on the Rotowire Fantasy Baseball Podcast, sponsored by WinBet.
Try Rotowire today, free for 10 days. Get our premium tools, rankings, analysis, and breaking news alerts. No credit card required. Go to rotowire.com/try.